In the kingdom of Queen Abeni, nestled amidst rolling hills and flowery forests, there lived a young woman named Chiamaka. She had golden eyes and was known throughout the land for her beauty and grace. But it was her kindness and strength that truly set her apart. Chiamaka's life changed forever when her beloved husband, Olufela, and his friend Cedrick decided to go to a distant land to work in a gold mine. Their lives would be much better when he would come back with a pot of gold to start their new life together. They had been living together for 6 months as Chiamaka had decided to elope with him. Before he departed, he made her a promise to return to her side and never again to go back to the mines, as he thought he would be able to gather wealth enough to live on, and some to start a small business that would sustain them. With a heavy heart but unwavering faith, Chiamaka bid him farewell, clutching his words to her chest like a precious gem. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and months turned into years. But Olufela did not return. After a year, news reached Chiamaka that her husband had had an accident and he had been hurt. He was rushed to hospital, and he only survived a few days and passed on. The news pierced her heart. Her beloved husband died without knowing he had a son, since Chiamaka discovered she was with child after her husband left for the mines. Grief pierced her heart, as her husband had died trying to better their lives. Devastated by the loss of her beloved, Chiamaka retreated into solitude. She retreated and felt like a tortoise stuck in its shell, refusing to eat or drink. As grief consumed her soul, she partly blamed herself for losing her husband and the social status of her country. She found solace in their son and the great support of her loving grandmother, who was a widow from her early life in her marriage. Her son was a beacon of light in her darkest hour. With every breath, she vowed to protect him from the pain that had shattered her own heart. As time passed on, Chiamaka's beauty and gracefulness started to shine again. Though she was still in mourning, her radiance would shine through. Suitors started to inquire who she was. She had this charm that drew people to her. Many came from far and wide, drawn by her radiance, but she wasn't ready, so she turned them down, keeping her heart locked away in the depths of her sorrow. Instead, she turned to learning how to provide for herself and son. It was a humble lifestyle, but she clung to it, fiercely determined to carve out a life for her son. Despite the hardships they faced, she was surprised how suitors still pursued her, eager to win her affections. One fateful day, as she fetched firewood, a stranger approached her, asking for directions to the king's palace, for he had been sent by his king to deliver an important document. Tall and handsome, with eyes that sparkled, he approached her with a smile upon his face. Chiamaka, with her ever kind-heartedness, obliged to help. The stranger introduced himself as King Barana's chief advisor, well-educated and wise. Chiamaka's heart skipped a beat. She felt a flutter of unease, a big change in herself, a flicker of something long buried, stirring within her soul. Yet she remained wary of her walls, firmly in place. Chiamaka, in her kindness, gave the chief advisor direction on how to get to the king's place. As he continued to the palace, his thoughts consumed by the beautiful woman he had encountered by forest fetching wood, he sought out every information he could find, determined to find out the secrets that shrouded Chiamaka. Chiamaka's wounded soul presented a storm raging within her, a tumult of emotions she struggled with, whether to move on with her life or stay a widow for the sake of her son. As weeks went on, charm broke through her, awakening feelings which had long been buried, as the king's chief advisor continued to seek her company, with each encounter deepening their connections. Chiamaka's heart softened, and her walls began to crumble with each passing day. She found the strength to face the uncertainties that lay ahead. In the end, it was love that conquered all. A journey they knew that their love was a force as timeless as the stars above. The new lovebirds embarked on a new chapter of their lives, their hearts entwined in a bond that could never be broken.